Cerydra's banner is finally here, and just like tradition, Harmony characters are usually the ones to go for if you want to build a good team. With that said though, if you got yourself Cerydra, how would you want to build her? What team can you put her in? And how do you play her as well? All those answers will be in today's Cerydra guide, so hopefully it'll help you out. Oh yeah, also some of the battle showcases will be from the Creator Experience server. By the way, if you're looking to get new characters like Cerydra yourself for cheaper, I thought I'd let you know about Loot Bar. Now I know you're tired of ads as well, but I do think this could help you out a bunch, and I won't make it too long, just 30 seconds of your time. Loot Bar is simple. It provides cheaper prices for various top-ups, including unique ones like a Cerydra Guaranteed bundle right now, and they even have a version limited Oniric shard deal that usually costs $100, but it's just 80 now. If you're not one to drop big purchases, Loot Bar's got you covered with the Express Supply Pass for slightly cheaper too. I feel like a housewife sharing discount tips in Walmart. Best part being there's no longer required, just your UID and server. Complete the payment, and you see the resources you purchase in your account within 5 minutes. Plus, as you can tell by the reviews, they are quite positive. If there are any safety concerns, well, Loot Bar's also got great reviews even on Trustpilot. And well, I've had zero issues myself, so I find it more trustworthy than that. Reviews my link in the description right now. You can even obtain a 10% discount coupon as newcomers. It helped me out a bunch, and no pressure here, is totally up to you. I'd appreciate it though. Now then, back to the video. To start us off, let's take a look at her general conclusion. Cerydra is a single target buffer that mainly provides you with the following 3 effects. Firstly, it's various helpful buffs like attack and speed. Secondly, it's a massive skill damage buff. And finally, her most unique effect, the skill replication effect. This is where you get to use the same skill twice, ignoring any cost. This makes her main role the ultimate buffer to someone like PHAINON, where he needs 4 stacks of Scourge to use his enhanced skill that hurts a lot. To be able to replicate that skill literally kills anything and anyone, and considering you don't have to spend double the cost for that, that is crazy damage, man. But with that considered, her best team is certainly more specific, where currently only characters like PHAINON and Anaxa are the 2 top choices for Cerydra, while other options will not be as ideal given she specifically aids DPS that deal the most damage with their skill. Speaking of her best ally, Archer is certainly up there as an option as well, though Sparkle is still the better buffer for Archer if it's a 1-to-1 comparison, given she provides the extra skill points. You can certainly consider using both of them together in a team though that actually works decently, but in my opinion, it's just not enough to be the sole reason to pull Cerydra, given you can certainly just use Cyrilwolf in that slot. But anyways, boiling everything down, Cerydra is the buffer best designed for PHAINON and Anaxa currently, and potentially for stronger damage dealers in the future that utilizes skill as their main form of damage output. With that out the way, let's dive into her kit now. We'll start by looking at her core mechanic. Her skill is a single target buffing skill which applies the military merit effect to an ally. This can be seen as the blue chest icon on top of your ally. Under this effect, the ally will obtain increased attack equal to 24% of Cerydra's attack at max upgrades, which is pretty handy but not too crazy. When using the skill, Cerydra will also gain 1 charge. When the charge reaches 6 points, the military merit buff will automatically upgrade into the peerage buff. This is where the blue chest icon turns into a golden one. When this happens, it also dispels their CC debuff if there are any. The moment a character obtains the peerage buff, they also gain crit damage increase for their skill by 72%, which is pretty big. And on top of that, a 10% all-type rest pen as well. Not only that, if you use a skill when you have the peerage buff, the holder of the buff will trigger the skill once more after using the skill, ignoring any cost like skill points or even Scourge stacks for the case of PHAINON. This is Cerydra's main shtick. You want to gain more charges to turn the military merit buff into peerage by getting 6 charges as fast as you can, and it's what makes her insanely strong when paired with PHAINON, allowing you to ignore the Scourge stack cost to use a stupidly strong skill instantly again. Understanding that the main playstyle with Cerydra will mostly just be keeping your skills buff uptime up, generating skill points for your team by simply using a basic when you need to, and yeah, getting to 6 points of charges will be her main value. To help gain more charges, Cerydra has a talent that allows the holder of military merit to also gain a charge whenever they use a basic or skill. This is also what makes Anaxa really strong, since he can use skills twice at once himself already, replenishing charges quickly for Cerydra. With the help of peerage buff, Anaxa will do 4 skills in a row because you use the same skill twice, and each skill triggers 1 extra skill themselves. On top of that, Cerydra has some okay damage on her with her talent as well, being able to trigger 1 one instance of wind additional damage, but it's truly not too crazy, though it's okay to have, I suppose. Cerydra's ultimate gains her 2 charges, which is why getting more ultimate on her will actually help you out a ton for charges replenishment. It also hits every enemy and does okay damage, nothing to go crazy for though. Her technique is surprisingly useful, given it basically allows Cerydra to start by using her skill once on whoever initiated the combat. It makes it so it can gain charges faster, which is her bread and butter, as you can start the game with one skill used already and you can instantly start racking up charges. Finally, to take a look at all of her major traits, the first one essentially grants Cerydra 360% crit damage only if she has 4000 attack. It sounds ridiculous, but her multipliers are really not high enough to say this is broken, especially without Eidolons. Her second major trait increases her crit rate by 100%, so yep, she literally only crits. And 100% crit rate for free sounds crazy. There's also some help with gaining charges, but it's only once per battle, so it's not that big of a deal. Yep, let's not forget her damage output at E0 is really nothing to write home about, but it's certainly good to have the crit rate, huh? The final major trait is the big one. When Cerydra uses her skill, increases speed for both herself and whoever she targeted by 20 speed. That's a huge increase, and this speed buff lasts for 3 turns, so you can very easily keep it going. Generally in game, this means you want to alternate between skill and basic to make sure you have the speed buff up at all times, but well, as long as you make sure it's on, you're good. On top of that, whenever the target character uses basic or skill, Cerydra also gains energy. So yeah, it's overall pretty valuable. The main part is honestly the speed with this one, which makes it easier to achieve the higher speed breakpoint of 161 and play around it with your damage dealer. For example, in my previous videos, I've shown how an Axel can be built to be faster than even Sunday, so that he can be pushed to get another turn while being faster than 161 speed breakpoint. This maximizes his turns taken. With that said, you've now understood the main deal with Cerydra. It's time to dive into her builds. Given how Cerydra functions, you pretty much want to maximize her charges as fast as possible to achieve the best effect. She also has a major trait that helps out with that 4000 attack, but honestly her damage output is not too crazy for you to hyper fixate on that. So you can actually prioritize everything else and not focus too hard on attack, but hey, some attack is not bad. There's also the part where she buffs attack for your ally based on her own attack, so yes, having some attack is truly actually good, but the main point being you don't have to force yourself to hit 4000. To achieve the best effect, you will prefer high speed on Cerydra along with high energy regen, so you can gain her ult faster for the 2 charges that it brings, getting you the peerage buff as often as can be. Hence you see the best relic set being the Sacerdo's Relived Ordeal set, where it provides you with speed increase. On top of that, Cerydra being able to use her technique that essentially uses her skill once the moment the battle starts, you can start the combat with one skill usage and use another skill during her turn once more to instantly get the full buff effects from this set. This allows your damage dealer to instantly kick into high gear if you so choose to. Alternatively, going for 2-piece Sacerdos or 2-piece Messenger, pair them with 2-piece Musketeer or 2-piece Prisoner set will do fine as well, mostly just to get the speed stat and attack stat for Cerydra, which both are considered beneficial to her. Feel free to mix and match them in this case based on what substats you have on them and what speed tuning you're looking for. Alternative to all of that would be the 4-piece Ego set. This is like a self dance action advance for every ultimate usage, but may or may not mess up your action order. It is the highest skill ceiling set with the highest potential return though. As for ornaments, you will want to use the Lushaka set, mainly for its energy regeneration. Some tap up for the first character in the team is certainly perfect too, since Cerydra only buffs one character. Alternatively, consider the One Walk set or the Penacony Land of Dreams set. Both provides you with energy regeneration. One Lock set in particular will be useful for certain zero cycle setups, while Penacony set will be very useful for teams with Anaxa being the main DPS, boosting the wind damage well. Moving on, let's take a look at the main stats. You want to go for the attack percent body, speed boots, attack percent sphere, and energy regeneration rope. You can make some changes to them like getting attack percent on the feet or the rope, but considering the lack of benefits from maxing Cerydra's attack that much, it's preferred to just get her speed and energy. For some stats, prioritize speed, then attack percent, then flat attack, then any defensive stat line. With relics out the way, let's take a look at the Lightcones. Her Lightcone is obviously the best in slot, providing you with very helpful attack buffs to achieve her 4000 attack ideal mark, also offering solid skill damage boost for your target ally. The big thing is the skill point regen, where every ult will get you 1 skill point. This actually acts as a convenient safety net where you wouldn't be punished as bad if you overspent skill points. In terms of min-maxing though, the extra skill point definitely matters. But in any case, I am speaking a lot on this given I like to actually mention the alternatives and give you a solid idea of what you can expect. So speaking of which, the best alternative in my opinion would be the free event Lightcone right now, the Forever Victual. At S5, it provides higher self-attack buff than the signature, but that's all. It does not help with skill points or skill damage. However, it is free, and considering the truly crazy coming characters in the new Danheng and Evernight, you might want to just consider using this free Lightcone instead. But make no mistake, her signature is still better than this free Lightcone. Another alternative that I like to bring up would be the good old Dance Dance Dance. A full team action events can actually be more valuable than any damage buffs if it means you can clear a cycle quicker after all. There are certainly other options as well after these 3, but they are likely used on some other 5 stars or it's more specific like Planetary Rendezvous, but it's still quite a lot of options for Lightcones in my opinion. A general conclusion would be go for a signature only if you really love Cerydra and want to main her. Now then, with Lightcones out the way, let's finally look at Cerydra's team comp. The best team for Cerydra is undoubtedly Cerydra, PHAINON, Sunday, or Bronya, plus a healer with the best being Huohuo for her energy regen, or heck, in this slot you could actually just ditch the healer and go for another buffer like Robin. After all, PHAINON protects your entire team during his ult, so you can actually go for a no healer team. Remember though, with Huohuo you want the 4-piece cloud set which gets you 1 extra skill points at the start. That is where you may want to spend a bit more skill points than usual. The thing is with this team is that there are a lot of ways to speed tune them too, and it more depends on what you're looking for. You can aim to have a very slow PHAINON and just focus on hyperspeed Cerydra and hyperspeed Sunday. As long as PHAINON can still hold all the buffs when he ults, you'll be fine. Another idea is to fully utilize the 20 speed buff by Cerydra for PHAINON and try making PHAINON faster than Sunday while both of them being above certain speed breakpoints. But since PHAINON does not utilize speed stat during his ult at all, it would kind of be a waste if you use like say a speed boot. So you want to make sure while you do that or attempt to do so, you want to still wield enough damage stats for you to clear off the wave, especially with the help of Cerydra's skill replication. It's pretty hard to achieve the ideal setup, but it's certainly possible. Imagine a PHAINON at 142 speed with the help of his own Lightcone and only through substat speed rolls. Then a Sunday at 161 speed. PHAINON will be at 162 speed in combat thanks to Cerydra, and you'd have him go double turns while being faster than the 161 breakpoint. It sounds pretty good, but it's certainly harder to achieve. You can certainly just go for a slow PHAINON and then have hyper speed buffers buffing it constantly. You will still beat anything honestly. All of that will be Cerydra's best setup, especially with PHAINON, but her alternative best team would be Cerydra, Anaxa, Sunday, and a healer. Similar to what I just mentioned, ideally you want Anaxa to be speed tuned so Sunday is slower, yet both are above the highest speed breakpoint you prefer to play at. This team will have Anaxa be dumping down skills like crazy, but it's most certainly weak against bosses like Svarog that could push back your ally and ruin the whole turn ordering. But it's not like you can't recover from it though. So a pretty strong team, and main DPS Anaxa is truly very underrated. With the 2 best team out the way, the final decent team would be Cerydra, Archer, Sparkle, and a healer. This team is solid given Archer helps gain charge quickly while his skill damage is very much boosted by Cerydra. Although losing the usual Cerulf in Cerydra's slot means you may not guarantee the quantum weakness that Archer's quantum set would really prefer. Cerydra's team can still be considerable even when we look at other options, but it's a lot less ideal. Like for example with Kafka, you could use her skill twice, but her main damage output is through dot activation, not quite so skill damage. While with the case of the Herda, yes, she will need skill damage, but still she needs to use her skill only when the enemy has high stacks. If you use it back to back with Cerydra's effect, you will do much less damage with her because every skill would have cleared off the stacks on the enemy. Finally, let's take a look at her Eidolons. Her E1 is up to 36% defense ignore for your target ally when granted peerage. It also regenerates 2 energy when Cerydra uses her skill on the target ally. The damage increase with the defense ignore is strong, but the kicker is actually with the energy regen. You see, 2 points of energy is literally nothing for most characters, but for a best ally in PHAINON, the 2 energy still counts as 1 whole extra ult stacks for PHAINON. Meaning from before, Cerydra can only regenerate 1 stack of ult charge for PHAINON with her skill. But now that she gets her E1, the little bit of energy regen will count as a whole extra ult charge for PHAINON, because PHAINON converts energy regen to a whole ult charge. This makes it so that Cerydra's E1 is of insane value for PHAINON specifically. Anyone else though would kind of just scoff at the measly 2 energy increase on the skill, but hey, the defense ignore is still cool. Overall, I'd actually recommend going for this if you want to juice up your PHAINON, and is actually unfair how nice it is if Cerydra and Sunday both just spam skills on PHAINON and both of them can regen energy that counts as a whole ult stack for him. The problem is though, this Eidolon is much less valuable on anyone but PHAINON. Plus, PHAINON's E2 is still more valuable than just getting this one, so you really want to plan your pulls well. With that out the way, let's move on to her E2. Cerydra's E2 here is a simple damage increase for the designated ally, and mainly it's a huge 160% damage increase for Cerydra herself. So yep, this is an Eidolon that focuses more on making Cerydra a reliable sub DPS, so it's not off the top priority unless you're going for that. Her E4 is also similar, providing an insane 240% multiplier increase on Cerydra's ultimate. Now she's a very strong sub DPS, but nothing for supportive capabilities at all though. The E6 has very strong all-time respen for the designated ally and insane multiplier increase for Cerydra's additional wind damage procs at 300% increase. She also now gains 20% all-time respen on herself as well, making her straight up a strong damage dealer now. But it's at E6 and it's more of a self-damage increase if anything, so do keep that in mind, where her supportive capabilities will not be changed too much. And now to conclude, Cerydra is currently the best option for PHAINON, a very solid option for Anaxa and Archer, though her issue will be with other archetypes of characters that don't utilize their skill for damage. She's a no-brainer pull if you want to juice up your PHAINON to the max, or if you want to make your main DPS Anaxa team an actual reliable team that you can use and rely on no matter what. Otherwise, there isn't a burning reason to have to pull her unless you consider future potential. However, can easily release someone with skill damage that really prefers Cerydra in the future, and without having a Harmony character in a future team, you may feel a lack of freedom and options with team building. But that is in the future and who knows what could happen. However though, I think they will rerun Cerydra if that time comes to pass. So skipping on this banner right now to prepare your heart and soul for the new Dan Heng and Evernight might be the play. But do remember, pull for who you love is the best way to do it. But yep, that'll be all for this one. I know I'll be pulling. In fact, I've already pulled her. She's just too adorable, man. Oh, in any case, I hope I helped you out. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about Cerydra, and take care.